And let's get further insights from Somtoochukwu Ik Ejiofor. She's a foreign policy analyst, and she joins me from Texas. Good to have you join us.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
So let's get to your thought on this. Many people saw this coming from Imran Khan. It didn't seem like he was going to survive it. How did he get here? We will talk about Shehbaz Sharif in just a moment. But how do you think he got here? What were the issues that led him to the point where he was ousted from office?
Okay, so Imran Khan has had issues for quite some time. I don't know if you're a social media fiend like myself. Each time on Twitter, every morning, you know, the Pakistanis are always trending, right? Those of us who follow world affairs and follow the news, it's always trending. He has had issues, right? And he has aligned himself with, you know, extremists, you know, like Putin, sometimes with China, you know. So he has made cases that these countries help his economic growth. But most of the issues from the people of Pakistan have been that he has had bad economic mismanagement, and the foreign policy issues that he has put forward have not been, you know, useful and have not been they've not been very useful to the Pakistani people. But the only thing that has really been okay since his tenure was the ceasefire in Kashmir, right? Some might also attribute it to the pandemic, but he has been having some issues for quite some time. He was not even too long ago, earlier this year, I've forgotten what month it was, I think it was in February, he was on Fareed Zakaria on CNN talking about some issues that he was facing and things like that. But it was just very interesting to hear his point of view and listen to him. He tends to side with extremist governments, but I think I trust the Pakistani people and I trust their decision-making process and their rule of law. So this is a domestic. I don't want to call it a domestic conflict, but it's just politics playing out, right? So let it play out. That's my own take on it.
And let's look at the bigger picture. I mean, for years, Pakistan has not had any prime minister that actually finishes a tenure. Is this not a bigger, some sort of, is this not an indication of a bigger political problem in that country than it is of just Imran Khan? I
actually see it as a challenge. It just shows that the next person coming in, although we have issues with Shehbaz is, I mean, his brother of the former prime minister. But the point is, I see it as a challenge. As any good, decent world leader, we see it as a challenge, right? I need to do the best I can so I'm not ousted like the rest, right? So that's the way I see it. The Pakistani people make sure that if you're not leading right, you get ousted, right? Mm-hmm. So that's them keeping their leaders in check. That's them they're making sure that their leaders are leading right. So I don't see it as a problem. I see it as a solution, actually. Like it's helping. It's making sure that good leaders are being brought in. That's the way I see it. I see it as the people keeping their leaders accountable. That's the way I see it. But it's
more like a politically active citizen. But
exactly.
Let's talk about. Interesting, you mentioned Shehbaz. He is the brother of Nawaz Sharif, three-time Prime Minister of Pakistan. Yes. Now has been indicted for corruption and has been charged. He's faced charges and convicted on that. But Shehbaz himself also has allegations of corruption against him. So, do you think that he's a better alternative in terms of looking at the reasons why Imran Khan started to have issues in office? Is Shehbaz necessarily a better alternative to Imran Khan?
Okay, so this is the thing with Shehbaz. In his time, he has actually been able to make projects get off the ground, right? The goal for any decent leader is to make sure that projects are being done and done accurately and within timeline, right? Shehbaz has shown us a timeline of him being able to successfully do that, right? So I think he might be, it's the choice of the Pakistani people. The leaders they elected made this choice, and by default, it's the choice of the Pakistanis that they selected Shehbaz. But over his time, he has shown us that he can get things done. It might not be as much as the rest, and he has done this without, you know, ostentatious political grandstanding, right? So that's what people like. People like someone who can get things done without having to, you know, brag about it or having to make sure that everybody knows about it. So that's the whole thing. But I worry about his influence with China. I worry about, his foreign affairs, because I don't think he has had extensive foreign affairs experience, because he used to be, yes, he used to be in the province of Punjab. He used to be a chief leader in the Punjabi region, right? So that's my own take on it. But I do believe and I do trust that he would have experts on his side, and because he's yet to form his cabinet, and I believe that he would choose people with decent foreign affairs expertise.
I think to the Pakistani people, what matters now is domestic policy and not necessarily maybe foreign policy. I think they care more about the economy than they care about how America or China views them. And we'll see how that plays out. Thank you so much for talking to us. Foreign policy analyst Somtoochukwu Ik Ejiofor.